Hola, bienvenidos a la tercera lección. Hoy vamos a hablar de los días de la semana, los meses del año y las palabras interrogativas. Ok, primero vamos a hablar de los días de la semana. Semana significa week, días obviamente es days. Los días son lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado y domingo. Estas son cosas que necesitas poner atención. No vas a cambiarlos a plural. Por ejemplo, el lunes no es los luneses. No funciona así. La otra cosa es que solo vas a usar una mayúscula cuando es un sustantivo proper. Por ejemplo, Viernes Santo. This is Good Friday. O Plaza Domingo de Septiembre. Pues el resto del tiempo, the rest of the time, you use a minúscula or a lowercase letter. So even if it's in a regular sentence, you use a lowercase letter. Y la otra cosa importante es que, como pueden ver, la semana empieza con lunes, no empieza con domingo, no. All the calendars, you will see them looking like this. Ok, podemos practicar esto en las conversaciones, las clases de conversaciones, pero, por ejemplo, pueden pueden practicar un poquito. So, si quieren pausar, if you want to pause and think for a second, go ahead and do that. ¿Cuándo tienes la clase de español? So, what time do you have Spanish class? Yo tengo la clase de español el martes. And you can also put a time here. And you would say, el martes a las 6 por la noche. So, estos son los días de la semana. Los meses del año, otra vez los voy a leer. Enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Otra vez solo usa las mayúsculas con las celebraciones y los lugares. Y la otra cosa importante es que los escriben diferente. So it's important to double check when someone writes a date like this that they are putting, because we put the month first and most people who speak Spanish will put the day first. So just make sure that like double check to make sure that that's accurate. If you see like 31 or something here, like you know it's wrong. So just double check those dates. Okay, otra vez, ¿cuál es tu fecha de nacimiento? Again, pause if you'd like to try to figure that out. The question means, when is your birthday? This is date of birth. Mi fecha de nacimiento es el 5 de octubre. I should note too, ¿cuál means like which, like WHICH. Which is your date of birth is the technical way to translate that sentence. So you could also say cuando, but I believe this is more accurate. So eso son las meses del año. Y ahora las palabras interrogativas. Ok. ¿Qué? ¿Quién? ¿Dónde? como, cuál. Ok, empezamos con qué. Significa what in inglés. And these are just examples. So, ¿qué molestias tienes? And you would respond to that with me duele mi espalda. This technically means like what bothers or what's bothering. Technically it means like what bothersomes do you have? Or what, yeah. The molestias means like, I guess like, it doesn't mean pain, but it means like what's bothering you. But this is the word for has. So it's saying like what bothers do you have? But what's bothering you is the way I would say it. And then you would respond by like a pain. So like me duele mi espalda. My back hurts. ¿Con quién tiene la cita? Tiene la cita con Dr. Lopez. So this would be like you asking your receptionist, with who does she have the appointment? The appointment is with Dr. Lopez. ¿Dónde le duele? Me duele en mi pierna. We're going to talk more about dolerse, le duele, me duele. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. ¿Cómo se siente usted? Me siento muy mal. ¿Cuál prefiere usted? Prefiero las cápsulas. Please come, if you have questions about the question words, please come to the conversation session so we can talk more specifically about them. Here are some more. ¿Por qué? Significa why. ¿Por qué necesito regresar? Él necesita revisar la herida. I. Remember, H's are not pronounced, so it's I. It actually sounds like like my eye, it hurts or whatever. My eye. It means there is or there are, so it does not change if it is plural. You just use the same word. ¿Hay dolor aquí? No, doctor, no hay dolor. ¿Cuándo empezó el dolor? Creo que empezó el lunes. So when did the pain start? Cada cuándo means like how often. Cada cuándo necesita tomar la pastilla. So again, this is somewhat like the receptionist asking, like how often does he need to take the pill, or a mom or someone. Él necesita tomar la pastilla cada mañana. ¿Cuánto? This does change to, it could be cuánta or cuántos or cuántas. It means how much or how many. So unlike I, this does change with number and gender. ¿Cuántas veces al día debo tomar la té? Toma el té. Sorry, I'm just noticing that I made a mistake. It is latte. It doesn't really matter, but toma la té 2 veces al día. So it means like how much or how many. And this veces is time. So how many times a day should I drink the tea? Okay. When we talk about question words, it's important to talk about just like parts of speech in general. So you have the subject, who is the person. This is interesting because you can drop it in Spanish, like it's implied with the verb. So sometimes you don't always have to have the subject there in the sentence or in the question, but it's good practice to put it there so that way you don't forget. And it must agree with the verb, like we've been talking about last week with ser. If I have yo, the verb has to end with an O in the present tense, I should say. We haven't talked about past yet. The verb, it tells you who the subject is in Spanish. So it's super important that the verb and the subject agree. Obviously, verbs are action words, so they involve some sort of action, whether it's passive or or a direct action. Okay, and then the object completes the sentence. So, for example, if you look, oops, sorry, I wanted to go this way. If you look at this last one, you could see that the subject here was taken out. So, toma el té 2 veces al día. The subject implied is like you take the tea 2 times a day. So taking, toma, is the verb, and this is the object, or like what's happening with the sentence. Here you can see, él necesita tomar la pastilla cada mañana. So él being your subject, necesita is your verb, and tomar la pastilla cada mañana is the object or the completer. Okay, so we're gonna do these responses at our conversation session. So I really just want you guys, if you want to come to that and you want to practice this more, this would be a really good one to do. We do questions and responses all semester or all trimester. So it's a good skill to just kind of master. So I'll just read these questions to you, and then if you want, you can come and we can practice them. ¿Cuándo tiene la cita Sara? 2. ¿Dónde está el dolor? 3. ¿Por qué necesito la medicina? 4. ¿Cuándo puede regresar usted? So if you want to do those, then come and we'll practice them. And then forming the question. When you are forming a question, when you see the response, so like let's say you see the sentence and someone says like, okay, now what do you think was asked of this person for them to respond in this way? Think about like, what is the time? When is it happening? If it's a when question, then you would use cuando. If there's a name, then it's probably asking about who it is, quién. If there's a place, it's talking about where, dónde. Who is the sentence about? If they're talking about he or she, like if they're saying like, ¿qué le duele a él? What's hurting him? You would start the sentence with like, he is hurt in this way. If it's asking you about, if it's telling you like, I need to drink tea every day, then the question is probably like, well, what do you need to drink? So you're looking at the question to try to form the answer. Me duele mucho mi estómago. Tengo una cita con doctora Matus. Usted necesita usar la crema cada noche. Lo siento, solo tenemos las cápsulas. So take a look at those questions. You could write them down, pause the video, and then if you want to come and practice at the conversation session, I strongly recommend that. So when you look at this first one, you'll say to yourself, like, well, it says, me duele mucho mi estómago. Well, it's talking about the stomach hurting. This was the word for hurt. I know it's hurting a lot. Me is probably with me. So the question is probably about you. That's how I want you guys to do that. Eso es todo. That's everything. Please email or call or just show up at class on Tuesday nights with questions. Hope to hear from you soon. Bye.